Good evening. Welcome to the Candid Kennel, the only podcast recorded inside a fictional speakeasy where speaking is easy but barking is better. Come on in, have a drink, and let us furry animals guide you through tonight's topics. I'm your local character design expert, definitely, trust me, Fray.
And I'm your perpetually puzzled puppy, Ren?
On tonight's menu, it's my birthday. I get to choose the topic. I get to drive the car. I'm choosing which cliff we're steering this off today as we slowly lose track of our topic. Today, well, why don't you explain what's going on?
I have no idea.
Fantastic! It's meant to be a surprise. Today's topic is character design. Either visual, written, character, personality. Character and personality both mean the same thing but have different implications in this current. Never mind, you know what I mean. So, before we begin, what you drinking?
Drinking anxiety, apparently, because we're about to jump into something that I haven't planned for. Hey, everybody! I'm still here. Fray decided to hijack the car. I don't know where we're driving to, but I guess we're here. I'm drinking a lovely, calming Earl Grey tea, because apparently I'm gonna need it.
I'm personally just drinking water, as is my favorite.
As is your usual.
As is my usual, my favorite beverage, brackets water, regular ass water, just plain old hydrogen dioxide. No,
No.
no, dihydrogen monoxide. Okay. Yeah, dihydrogen monoxide, H2O.
I'm not a science dog. You could be lying to me.
I used
Anyway.
to
So yeah, this fun little episode. Firstly, happy birthday, Fray.
be. Yay.
A very happy puppy birthday to you.
Well, technically, since we record these in advance, it's just.
No, don't spoil the vibe.
It's my birthday for the next 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. You won't know.
In this very moment, I consider it your birthday.
It could be my birthday right now, and you would never know.
And who knows, maybe I'll chuck it on my Instagram that this is your birthday episode, and maybe people will make you art, who knows.
Oh god. Slightly anxiety inducing. Oh, people actually doing things for me? Yeah, no, actually, I can respect that.
Yeah, I am pretty actually excited for this. Here's the thing. This whole idea of flying blind was my idea. Because apparently I was like, yeah, it's your birthday episode. Let's do something batshit stupid.
Yeah, and I took that and immediately went, yep, that's right. We're going to be doing something on a vague topic that we may not have enough time to cover, or we may not have enough cover to time.
Cover the time.
It works.
As we will with this topic.
Yeah.
I actually, luckily you picked a topic that I can speak on for days, so we'll be chill. This is just going to be a far more casually less structured episode, because here's the secret about the pod. We do actually kind of try to follow a bit of a thematic structure when it comes to our podcast.
Unfortunately, I had to write the episode, and great first idea.
Write the episodes.
Yeah, I help, but this was me writing it solo. Great starting idea, going great. Except for the part where I didn't write a lot.
Just like a true writer.
Just like a true writer, when given the chance to write, I of course immediately ignore it and go play video games.
Yeah. What video game have you been playing recently?
I've been playing a video game called Paint Up All the Warhammer Models you've been putting off for the last 2 to 3 years.
They're pretty sick though.
They're pretty sick. I maybe once it hits my birthday, I will post a picture of the boy I've been painting up for the last week or two.
On your Instagram, teehee.
On my Instagram. I will actually use my Instagram. Oh, speaking of Instagram, aren't you big shot influencer now?
No!
You hang around with small fish like me.
Darling, you will always be my right-hand fox. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks for this little art dog, huh?
It definitely has. I can't believe people actually like the podcast.
Oi.
Well, no, I can believe it, but it's more I can't believe
in our silly little preamble that we usually do, I would like to talk about the fact that people have started coming up to me in person saying they know me from the podcast. This is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me.
Deeply scary.
It was awesome because the first time it happened, I was at a Protect Trans Kids protest because protect trans kids. Someone heard me talking to another dog. Shout out to Seven. Hi, Seven, if you listen to this. I was chatting to Seven, and they came up to me, this person who was friends, and goes, "I know that voice," and I'm like, "Oh!" I immediately have the like internal like freak out of like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no! I've become notorious. Somebody knows me for something horrible and horrendous." And they're like, "Yeah, are you the host of the Candid Kennel?" And I swear, I like freeze, and I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, I am."
Ran in the headlights.
Batshit. Super cool though. Like, thank you for coming up to me. It was awesome. And then I had it again today because today I was at a puppy brunch, which was very cute. It was literally just a bunch of dog people having brunching. There was paw print waffles and dog bones. It was very cool. And I walk into that room, and firstly, everyone immediately comments on my shirt, which says "Love is a dog" because love is a dog.
Yeah, no, understandable.
As Fray would know, being loved by many dogs.
Yeah, no, and as a fox, I am physically incapable of love and disgusted by the same.
No, oi! Lying this whole time. Aw.
Lying.
Lying to me?
I
Oh,
can't believe it.
lying to me?
Yes, I'm sorry, it's true. I've been a dog this whole time.
Oh. It's close enough, right?
Is it basically the same thing? Just squint.
Yeah, so I walk into this lovely my friend's living room, and basically 4 people immediately go, "Oh, you must be Ren from the Candid Kennel."
Oh, big shot e-celeb.
Clearly my friend Sky, who definitely will listen to this episode. So, hi Sky, you're great. Thank you for listening to the pod, and thank you for sharing it around your entire friend group. Yeah, like 4 people in that friend group just go, "Oh, you must be Ren. I've heard about your podcast," and I'm just like, "Oh boy." So, because of the podcast and because of like my art and the content that I create now, like actively, I've become kind of a known entity in like my local spheres. Very strange.
Deeply horrifying. Unsettling, even. Thankfully, I have cunningly dodged this issue by just never having anything worth posting on Instagram.
Well, that's soon gonna change.
Oh no. Yeah, no, I probably should post my little dumbass miniatures on dumbass miniatures. Not dumbass. I put a lot of work into painting these.
And you can post your suit.
And I can pose my suit, but I do need someone else to hold the camera, unfortunately.
We should do a foot. A foot?
We
We
should.
should do a foot.
We should do a foot.
Yeah, I mean, we should totally do like a fursuit shoot. That would be so much fun. Let me
Yeah.
take photos of your suit.
Let me take photos of yours once you get it.
Oh my god, the head pics are so pretty.
They are so cool.
She's so
I'm so
cool.
glad you're getting them.
Frog Dog also posted a reel of the creation of it, so you should all go check that out. Also, hi Frog Dog, if you're watching this, because I know that you listened to last episode, and that's super cool. So if you listen to this episode, thank you. The work you make is amazing, and I am so excited to have my baby dog. Also, shout out to everyone who says that she's the new fursuit crush, because you're right. Everyone should have a crush on Ren. That's because everybody has a crush on me.
Yeah, no, obviously.
Including my co-host.
Yeah, obviously. I've got a massive crush on you. Weird and fucked up, I know, but
Wait, for real?
no, I'm playing with your emotions.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. I'm actually awful and manipulative.
Here's what we'll do. Because we obviously can't spoil to the audience whether or not we are a thing or not. Say your answer, and then I'll censor it.
Oh, yeah, no. I think you've got a... I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, like, you know, we're just kind of... We're basically roommates.
Oh my god.
Oh my
They
god.
were dog mates. So, just to make it super clear so that we can drop the bit entirely. Fray, are we dating? Glad we cleared that up. I'm glad we've cleared that up.
I'm glad we've cleared the air and everyone now understands perfectly what is going on, what we are.
So yeah, I was at a fun little dog breakfast picnic today, which was really cool and kind of feels very full circle with what we were talking about last episode, where it's like engage with the community and host fun events, and be animals.
Yeah, no.
And then a friend hits me up being like, "Hey, you want to be an animal?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah, no. The good ending.
The good ending. That's the goal. Anyway, Fray, are you? Have you got the keys in the ignition?
All right, yeah, we're starting it. So
Oh
let's
boy.
let's start with the big one. How do you design an OC or character? For like, or let's start this narrowed down. Let's start with tabletop games. Let's say D&D or like any of the other 10 million different
I apologize for responding to your question with a question. Are you asking me directly, or you asking sort of like in general, how can people do it? Or are you wanting my direct personal opinion?
I'm asking you directly purely because everyone does it differently and there's no wrong way to
Yeah,
do it, but I'm always interested to know how other people do it.
cool. Yeah, I'm happy to share that with you. So I have three main. I guess I'll do my D&D characters. So I have three main D&D characters who I've played through, like either full campaigns or I'm still currently in a campaign.
Hmm.
And all three of them I've realized are built on the same sort of internal brain system, basically. And for me, I always start with what class do I want to play? It's always class for me. My favorite classes are Bard and Druid because I
Hmm.
like spellcasters, I like art, I like animals, I like being able to turn into animal.
Yeah, no,
But
that's fair.
obviously, like I think all the classes have, their things that you can enjoy and get fun out of. So my first main D&D character was Delcar Amberhorn of Clan Amberhorn. They were a Dragonborn Bard Fighter multiclass. They started as a bard and then, because of events in the story, then added fighter, which was very cool.
Okay.
Which is also like that's an element, right? Of like if I'm given a bit of the story prior, I always try and sort of knit myself into the story and sort of where I fit. Um, while still adding my own like creative flavor.
Yeah.
Delcar, or just Del, was a runaway noble, which is a very fun trope. I also love like working with tropes, right? So that's definitely sort of my next step. Is I don't even think about race yet, unless I have one particularly in mind that I'm like I want to play this race because I think they're awesome. Dragonborns are dope,
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
but
Dragonborn are just
Dragonborn wasn't like I had the idea for Dell before I had the idea for Dragonborn. I guess I knew I wanted to play like a noble, someone who was like a hidden nobility, and have that revealed in the game. And then when I learned about the campaign setting, there were lots of the one of the big things about this campaign setting were like clans of like Dragonborn, and I was like, ooh, what if I'm like a runaway noble from one of these clans? And I was like, I really dig lightning aesthetics. I think they're really sick. So I was like, cool, bronze dragonborn, lightning dragon bard who discovered they were a bard after running away because they were stifled in their creativity, in their noble life, and found their creative spark on the run.
yeah.
And I think for me, it's like these things sort of unfold as I get like a base idea of like a vibe. It's sort of like a taste or an element of them, and then I sort of let it cascade out of me.
So you have a like starting point, a rock that you want to start with, and then you
Mhm.
just start building
I start
around it.
chiseling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you?
Me? Uh, mm, Personally, I always start with a gimmick. It makes it very easy to make a character if you give them a gimmick, uh, and then you know, uh, work from there and see what you can do and what you can make. For example, my most recent D&D character is a is someone pretending to be an exorcist while still being able to see ghosts. That's what makes them good at it. But they are blatantly just massively overcharging for the services of a real, guaranteed, certified exorcist.
Here's my question then. Is it like grave cleric? Is it like necromancer wizard? Is it just like a rogue who's like lying to everybody?
It is actually a phantom rogue. Phantom
Nice.
as a class just looked very cool. So I guess that's also part of it. I started with a class and then moved on to a gimmick, and then I kind of built a character out of that, mashing those together and then seeing what comes out.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the ways that my brain basically just works is stories, right? And I even feel very similarly about like when I'm, developing an art piece. I think I take a similar sort of stance with like D&D, right? I treat it very, very artistically, very roleplay heavy. For me, all the mechanics come at the end. Like don't get me wrong, I love crafting like a really fun to like physically play character. But if I'm not enjoying their story and I'm not connecting with them on a roleplay level,
Mm.
it just won't work for me, right?
Yeah, no. At a certain point, you have to go like, "Ooh, why am I still like using this character if we're
What are my motivations for being in these fights, and a really good example for that is my second character, Olivine Opal. She's my darling. She's the mum of my D&D characters. And this was one of those examples of seeing a race and being like, I need to drop everything and build a this race immediately.
I need to immediately figure out what is going on over here." Very dog coded, very dog coded.
Yeah, I had to sniff it out. This race is also now I guess in the new 2024 rules, it's species. This is my favorite D&D species now. That is the Fearbolg. I
Firbolgs
love
are,
I love the big cow people.
oh, they're so cute.
I also love that they like are descendants from both Fey and giants. Because if you look at their language proficiencies, they get Sylvan and Giant, and I think that's awesome.
I will point out something. This is a little bit of trivia that I actually know about D&D, surprisingly.
Go ahead.
Shocking. I'm pretty sure Furbolgs as cow people was an invention of Critical Role. Furbolgs used to be weird, kind of half bug, half giant
Really?
people, if I remember right.
I guess they kind of. It also kind of depends on like how someone wants to flavor it, right?
Yeah, no. The traditional Forgotten Realms Furbolg is very different from the
I just also like I was one of the things that really attracted me to them were one, big ears,
yeah, no.
two, the fact that they're really tall. Like I found that really fun. So I made Olivine like I think like 7.5, 8 foot tall. Which is awesome. She had to like crouch and shit. It was very funny. And then it was also just like the kind of like reindeery cow aesthetic, like fluffy. I don't know. I just think they're cute. I think furballs are
No,
great.
yeah, no, I can understand that. I can relate to that.
Also, they get some crazy good racial traits.
Mm, yeah, no.
Having invisible step is so good. Like hidden step, excellent.
Yeah.
So Olivine was one of those characters that like I want to play this race so badly. I'm gonna build a character that fits with kind of my own perception of what this like
What
basis
is
is.
yeah.
So I built a gardener. A gardener lesbian who lost her wife, and then became a cleric to the spirit of her dead wife.
Ah, that's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, it was incredibly sweet. Um, so the whole idea was that she like built a grove with her wife. Um, she was the gardener to the palace that her drow wife was a part of. Was the gardener at the windowsill, and they had like a flirtation through the windows and stuff like that, while she tidied up the garden as a day job. And then they eventually fall in love, get married, and then they move to a grotto and build the grotto with each other.
Okay.
And then when the wife passes away, just from natural causes, like it was just a thing that was like unavoidable.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, no. Dead wife syndrome is it happens to reach out to a local D&D character if you hear they have dead wife syndrome.
stupid. Yeah, so she was like buried in the grotto, and then her soul like embodied that space, and through storyline things and such and campaign, yeah, she became a nature cleric
Oh,
of the grotto of her wife.
oh, that's sweet. That's really cute.
I do love a cleric. Clerics are also like super powerful.
Oh yeah, clerics are the backbone of any good party.
I feel like there's a perception, right? Like, especially when you're like learning about things like D&D and like tabletop, where you're like, oh, I don't want to play the like, the spiritual healer class or like the priest class, and then you finally do it, and you're like, oh my god, why are they the strongest class?
There's something deeply funny about people being like, oh yeah, the cleric, they're peaceful. Yeah. Have you ever seen a war cleric? Have you ever seen one of those guys just like face tank basically every single enemy in the game and then just start dishing out one taps?
Yeah, it's so sick how
Horrifying.
like they can take and deal. It's so sick. So yeah, play cleric. It's fun.
Play clerics. Play more clerics.
Play
Your
more
party will
clerics.
thank you. Well, up until you stop healing them and start just killing things with your bare hands.
And they're also super versatile. Like you can play like a spell heavy cleric or you can play a weapons cleric. Like it really depends on you.
A
They're
cleric can
very
be
versatile.
anything. I cannot stress enough. You can pray if you pray hard enough to anything, you too can become a
Cleric to your dead wife.
yeah. If you love your dead wife enough, brackets, you can become Max Payne.
You could become oh my wait, whoa. Okay, headcanon. Ready? John Wick is a cleric of his dog. Or a paladin of his dog? Oath of Vengeance in brackets dog.
I think he was already he's like he's a fallen cleric at the start and then he kind of like, refines peace in his
Oathbreaker?
life and then immediately makes a new oath of vengeance
Yeah. His dog gets
the
taken.
second his dog gets put down. He's That's not exactly what happened in the film. The dog lives in the film. Trust me, don't watch it.
No dog died in the making of this podcast.
No dogs were killed in the making of this podcast.
After his dog gets whole, he just becomes like Oath of Vengeance.
Oh yeah, no. I still love that scene where the main antagonist is desperately trying to talk him down and he just hangs up on him.
Yeah, because it's his dog.
It's his dog. I'd do the same.
Oh yeah, I was literally just about to ask. I was like, okay, if I got lost in a park
Mhm.
and you came looking for me, would you also go on? I don't want to say a rampage, but would you dedicate your life to finding me again?
I mean I could do that. I've got the free time. I can dedicate my life to this.
Oh, you dedicate your life to me?
Oh yeah, no. Roommates.
No, it's gonna be a bit.
Oh, Ren, I love you so much as long as you pay the rent on time and also part of the
Whoa.
utilities.
Wow, that's super toxic of you, Fray. But I
Oh,
love you too.
toxic Yuri.
That's what the pot is.
Oh,
Dog sick Yuri.
toxic. Oh, that's so. Oh, that's
We
terrible.
mentioned at the start of this episode that it would be off the rails. So we're cruising down the highway. We don't know which highway we're on,
Oh yeah,
but
no.
the view is great.
The view is pretty cool. So,
Yeah,
so here's a question that I think is also interesting. I-
go on.
If you're designing an OC or like a Sona, do you design them the same way as a tabletop character?
Ooh, so like when it comes to like personas for me.
Yeah, when it comes to personas, do you design them the
Ooh.
same way as a tabletop character?
Oh, that's a fascinating question because I have like six different answers.
I have
Okay.
like 12 different Sonas, trust me.
Yeah. Okay. I guess what I have to say for this, right, is I want to point out the similarities because I think they're more interesting than the differences. Because the differences are easy. It's like this isn't a game character, you know. So I actually want to bring up the things that I find similar about the two processes.
Okay.
One is the really obvious of like, oh, this is a character I'm building so that I can embody it. Whether that means that it embodies a piece of me or I then, play the character and embody a piece of it, which here's the secret about playing a D&D character. There will always be influences that leak into your real life or like your real life will always have some form of influence on your D&D character even if you don't try to.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a coincidence all my D&D characters have been women. Teehee, Twel's hair.
So I really do feel like there is a very strong element of that embodying something that matters to you, particularly if you're playing like a long-term campaign. you do like take on elements of that character, and you start thinking about their viewpoints and what they believe in, and I think that's really common for like a persona or something similar, because it becomes such like an integrated part of your life.
Yeah. It's like once a D&D campaign hits a certain level, you're just like, yeah, this is my character. They don't belong to the campaign. They don't belong to like this one specific setting or thing. They're mine.
It's like it's I wouldn't call it like a sunk cost, but it's that level of like commitment. You get like internally married to your characters.
Yeah.
Another part for me that I find really similar and really interesting, and I don't think every furry does this, but I know that I do just because of the experiences that I have. My sonas all exist in the same world.
Hmm.
As a comic writer, as someone who writes comics and produces them, I basically have a fully fleshed out internal world for like, where does Ren live? Who's Ren's roommate? who who like does Ren know of my sonas? What bars do they frequent? Who is Chai in a polycule with? Who does Leanie teach at the bookstore? Like, I fully have like an entire fleshed out like city and like world in which my sonas exist in my imagination.
For me, like as a writer, I don't know, maybe I take it for granted that I'm like, yeah, no, obviously all my characters exist in the same world. But like
Mm.
maybe that's just because of my brain is just like, yeah, because you're going to write about them, right? You're gonna actually write something.
Yeah, maybe it is like a little like a handover from being a comic artist. And I
Yeah.
think it's almost like if I ever end up writing like more comics for my OCs, it'd be very easy for me to just take what I already have like that exists in my brain. It's like it was also a thing that I did pretty heavily at like uni, and maybe it's a little bit of the ADHD where it's like, oh, when I'm bored, I just think about my silly little animals and what they're doing today. And
Mm.
then
Yeah.
and all the stories connect. So maybe it's an influence of that. But also I think it is almost like it's like storage memory, right? Where it's like, cool, if I ever want to write a comic, I know like 6 different plot hooks.
Yeah, no. That's fair enough. That's
Yeah.
a really interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah. And I think there is like obviously the similarity with a tabletop character where it's like, cool, I need to have a decently thorough understanding of how they exist in the world because I'm going to be playing in it. And I think a lot of that energy can be held over. And I think, funnily enough, as someone who also does DM, when I write a story for a campaign or a story for a character that I'm playing in a campaign or a story for a comic, the process of like integrating those things is all the same. To me, it's just like what are the important pivotal events that have led the character to the point where they're at, and what is about to happen to them, that or what's something that if I'm playing a character, what's an interesting thing that I can make this character do in this episode, in this session.
Yeah, no. As opposed to what usually happens when you're writing a backstory, which is, what tragedy can I inflict upon Gormless Rube?
There's so much more than tragedy you can put into your characters, says the girl who killed the wife of
Again, dead wife syndrome. It happens so often.
Ollie had a beautiful long life, because that was also one of the things about Ollie's character is she was also kind of like hella reluctant to even go traveling. She was like, I had a perfectly good, contented life with my wife, and now I have to go kill demons.
Can't believe it.
Excuse me, I'm like in my late 40s.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
That's also another thing, right? Is sometimes another way to make a character is, what's something that I'm not? I'm gonna play the thing I'm not. And then you realize that maybe you have a lot of in common, or you can relate to their experiences. I think playing characters outside your comfort zone is an amazing way to build your own perspective on life in general.
That's fair enough. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That's very.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you maybe you struggle with like Emotional vulnerability. Cool. I'm gonna play like a sorcerer who quite literally can't help, but their magic is like empowered by emotion. Or I find myself conflict avoidant. Cool. I'm gonna play a barbarian who can't help but fight. Like there is really they always make jokes about like, oh, D&D is, therapy. But this is actually a really effective way to explore those ideas. Like I'll say personally, like I definitely have a pretty big fear of like abandonment and death and things like that. And that could be literal or metaphorical. So I've played like uh or I could be playing like a grave cleric or a necromancer and looking into my own qualms with that idea.
Yeah, that's a very interesting way to look at it. Like, I know characters as therapy is like a very common theme with your everyone's little OCs or little.
Don't call me out like this. I'll tell my therapist about it.
So when is the next D&D? But
Whenever you want, baby doll.
personally, I'm not if I'm making OCs, this doesn't have to be Sonas. I have had like see previous episode. Sorry, that's 2 episodes back, not the first one. Listen to the second one too. But I have had a bad run of trying to make Personas.
Nobody knows what a cat is.
No one knows what a cat is. I usually just end up making OCs or like little characters that I'm just like, hey, I want to explore this idea in either writing or art. Let me go politely ask my artist friend if they want to draw something.
You have never politely asked me to draw you anything.
Yeah, because I'm nervous. Or what if you say no?
What if the girl who really cares about you and has a podcast with you and draws you things casually while she's at work says no to drawing you something because you asked?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
You see,
no.
you understand.
Oh my god. Fray, you can ask me for art, it's fine. It's even more fine if there's monetary value attached.
Oh, I have an artist that I really like because I really like his art style.
Right here.
He sorry, I'm seeing other artists. I'm sorry.
But I thought we were roommates.
We are actually there's about 2 artists now that I think about it. But
It's alright. She's
yeah,
she's polyartist.
she's polyartist. I go like, hey, if I wanted XYZ, would you be able to draw that? Would if I give you this incredibly detailed written description, can you bring the worm inside my brain to life?
Uh-huh.
And it turns out, yes, you can. To add to the ones that are just simply given to me because I still have a Sonic OC that a friend gave to me. I love him dearly. He's a cool guy.
You've got to spill that on the pod
Oh god.
right now. It's your birthday, so as a gift to me,
On my
please
birthday?
please spill your Sonic OC.
Okay, basically, so I was pretty obsessed with Sonic Riders. Sonic Riders is objectively the best racing game ever made.
It plays terribly, but damn, the vibe is cool.
The vibe is so insane. I made a little racing guy, a little guy who races on his little rollerblades. His
Dope.
name is Kiryu because I couldn't think of anything, so I just went with Yakuza because it was the last series I played. But he is teal. He's a teal bird, but like I really like him. I can't remember if he's like a hawk or just an eagle.
I fully thought you were gonna say, oh, he's just a whore.
He's just a whore, He really does just slut.
Horse.
Horse, not the other one. Mods remove that immediately.
Once again, I'm so sorry to remind you, it's just us.
There's no mods. But yeah, no, I've completely lost track of my tangent.
You were talking about the teal bird Sonic Riders.
Oh, I think that's about it, really. Just the bird. I haven't actually. I had this huge again back in the Thousand Years Lost Media department. I had this like plan for a backstory written out on like my old computer, and then it was immediately obliterated, as a sign from a vengeful god.
Was the god you?
No, the god was apparently the CPU exploding.
Ah,
Not exploding, not literally, just like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like what happens when you kiss a trans girl's neck?
Yeah, no, the CPU explodes. Excellent work, 47.
What? Is that like a sleeper agent line? Are you trying to
No,
wake me
no,
up?
I'm quoting the hit game Hitman brackets
Hitman?
Hitman when the guy hits man with hammers.
I'm a lesbian. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Damn.
I don't hit on men.
uh,
Bit City, population us. That's where we've been driving to.
I can't believe it. It's just all the bits. Besides Kiryu, when I go to design a character, when I want a character designed, it's usually just like I start with like, okay, what species do I what little toy do I want to play with today?
Mhm.
Which colored square will fit best in this box?
The choice was beak and wings.
Yeah, no, it's pretty simple. And then I start working through like, okay, what kind of XYZ are they? What do they do?
So yours is more of like a stairway, while mine, I guess, is more of like stepping stones on a pond. Yours has a bit more of like a 2 to 3. Mine is like, oh, I've hopped here. What if I hop over here now?
Now I'll jump here and here and here. And it's not like characters can't change. It's not like characters are stuck as the static thing that they've always been and always will be forever. A character can change their purpose. A character can change what they are. Before I had a character called Cloudy. I still do have a character called Cloudy. They kind of evolved from cute little cat to mischievous Fray trickster half god. The thing is, it's like, yeah, characters can evolve beyond what you started them with. Like Cloudy evolved. One of my characters trans their gender.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
That can happen?
It turns out, yeah, you can actually just transgender someone.
Oh
It's pretty easy.
my god, you got the magic trans wand.
Yeah, no, I've met many people with the magic trans wand. Sorry, cut that, cut. I still think my favorite little characters that I made up like on the spot and then just kind of went through them and cleaned them up and perfected them a little. My little Hollow Knight OCs. I have 4 of them because I'm obsessed with that funny bug game.
That is a game that I have intended to play.
You need to play it.
I'll play it if you ask me in a very, very specific way that I hope you catch the hint of.
I don't catch the hit. Unfortunately, you're dealing with the most clueless woman alive.
Hey, Fray,
Yeah.
ask me to do it like a dog.
Ask you to do it like a dog. But dogs have paws. How are you going to play Hollow Knight, the best ever game ever made?
Oh no!
Winner of several Game of the Year awards, and Silksong is coming right out right now. Exactly now. Right, guys?
I do see one of my old uni friends posts about Silksong every single Nintendo Direct, so I'm assuming I'm missing something.
Silksong is real and is going to come out next Nintendo Direct. Trust me, guys.
Yeah, I'll play it if you ask me very nicely.
I don't know how to ask you like a dog. How am I meant to go? Alright, go and play Hollow Knight registered trademark.
No, you just say nice praising words to me, and you'd be like, you'd be.
Oh, you'd be such a good girl if you went and play Hollow Knight, you know?
Yeah,
You'd be so cool if you played Hollow
you think
Knight.
so?
Yeah, I think so. A lot.
You think I would maybe a good dog?
It would make you such a good dog.
Uh,
See? Easy. That's how we're gonna get Silks. We ask nicely.
Just ask the dogs to make it.
Just ask the dogs to finish Silk Song.
That's how you get me to finish any project. I just get Fray to do whatever that was.
Easiest motivation.
That's how you get me on the pod.
Yeah, I just asked nicely.
Yeah, every time we're about to start the podcast, Fray sends me a voice note.
Yeah, no, that just says Fray needs you to hop on the podcast, Ren. Please, 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 please. Be a good dog and hop on the podcast, please.
Yeah, I'm here.
And it just works like a charm. I need to talk about my little OCs. I've got 4 of them. You're not going to understand anything about them because you've never played Hollow Knight.
I've seen like clips, and I know that the guy has a little skull, and I know that there's little critters that like clean the lamp posts.
I, you know about Mendabug? That's
I
that,
do.
that's the most obscure thing you could possibly know about. Okay, so there are greater wills in Hollow Knight who
Mhm.
are also vying for control of the area it takes place in. One of those most of those greater wills have kind of been beaten to death. I made 4OCs, each designed around a greater will that is not the main greater will, which will not be mentioned because it's technically spoilers, I guess. But they're all my favorite, and I love them all very much.
How great is your will?
How much greater is your will? Anyway, I'm immediately sending you all 4 pictures of my Hollow Knight OCs because I am once again forced to do this because of the nebulous compulsion.
Oh, wait, these kind of rule.
Yeah, no, I love them so much.
Oh, one's got like a little like sewing needle.
Yeah,
I like the one with the yellow, with the little yellow blushy cheeks. I don't like the spider guy, but it's cool.
unfortunately, that is the most pale, deathly sick one of the lot.
Relatable.
Relatable content. It's just how it is sometimes.
I like that you're basically, because it's your birthday episode, you're like, cool, this is my one chance to chat about this one really obscure thing, and I literally can't say anything about it or be like, this is kind of off topic. It's like, nope, because you've got two hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah, no, I've got both hands on the steering wheel and I'm holding it in a vice grip and rambling incoherently while we careen through traffic.
Am I wearing a seatbelt?
Yes, we're both wearing seatbelts. Remember to wear your
Cool.
seatbelts. Anyway, I'm also going to post a picture of Kiyu.
Oh, wait, she's awesome. She kind of rules.
Yeah, no, I really like him. It's funny. I have also been thinking about that
Yeah, he kind of rules. He kind of fucks.
kind of fucks. 100%. You could estrogenize him so easily.
That's what they said about me.
That's what they said about me too. Flirting when I just go, babe, you're so easy to manipulate and estrogenize.
Well, I think the OCs are awesome. Thank you for sharing them with me. I do not have much context, but I can at least say they look pretty neato.
Yeah, I really like them. I will ramble incoherently about the Hollow Knight OCs if forced to. I will explain backstory for all of them that you will not understand.
If you can do it in a way that's like non-spoilery and at least like in vague terms, I'll give you like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. 5 minutes. I will explain one of their backstories. Lillid,
Okay.
the green one. Okay, so vessels canonically have no gender. The only gendered vessels are the small little bugs with the cool masks. Like the character you're playing as, the knight, little knight. That's the protagonist. You probably know what they look like. They're very sharp
Yeah,
and they got the 2 little horns.
he's cute.
Yeah, vessels canonically have no gender. It's interesting because the only vessel that does have a gender is the child of an entirely different species and the thing that generally made the vessels, which is Hornet. Hornet is the main protagonist of Silk Song, which is definitely going to release soon. I promise. Please.
Is okay, I gotta ask this, right?
Yeah?
Is this like a Half-Life 3 situation where
Yes.
it's like this inherently like could exist, but there is no evidence?
Counterpoint, there is a lot of evidence that it actually does exist and is still in active development. Unfortunately, the problem is we gave the creators of Hollow Knight far too much money, so now they can put in all the things that they couldn't put in the original Hollow Knight because of a lack of backer funds. The thing I'm worried about, personally, what if they develop it and it's just way too much? What if we end up in a situation where it's just like it's too much content to be experienced?
I'm about to say a really hot take.
Yeah?
What if it's low-key like Tears of the Kingdom? Uh,
Tears of the Kingdom? I haven't played any. I don't play Zelda games.
I'm gonna say a real quick hot take because I guess we're in Bit City riding the rails. I loved Breath of the Wild, played so much of it, finished it to completion. I couldn't finish Tears of the Kingdom because it was too much. It was too much.
It's just too much on the plate.
Yeah,
Doesn't it have like 3 open worlds?
yeah, Breath of the Wild was like the perfect amount of like things to do that kept me coming back and playing it for years. Tears of the Kingdom came out, played it for a little bit, and was like, I actually feel like I can't do everything,
because there's nothing.
so I can't keep playing this. And that really sucks because it was fun, but it was like, there's too much. And it also low-key did kind of feel like I had already done some of it before. Like, I played most of the main story, which was fun, but everything else I was like, I've kind of explored, like, not to say I've explored that world already, but I've already explored in this way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes
Like,
sense.
I don't know. It saddens me, right? Because I wanted to love it. Hoping that the totally fictional Silk Song is not that.
Yeah, no, hopefully. The only thing I know about Tears of the Kingdom is people got really sad that they couldn't ship Sidon and Link anymore. And
Yeah,
I think that's the greatest tragedy of the modern age.
that is a huge tragedy. Have you seen some of that art?
No,
Cool.
I'm
I've got things to
legally
send
required to not say no.
you. I've got things to send you after the pod. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yippee!
Yippee.
Yippee, fish boyfriend.
Wow. Fish.
Wow, shark boyfriend.
Uh,
Episode title: Wow, shark boyfriend.
Bit City.
We are in Bit City. Are we okay? In Bit City, are we like riding? Are we currently riding down the streets, or are we like cruising? Are we sort of like slow riding now?
Oh, I think we're both through Bit City and already going back through Bit City again, like speeding through it and then just like
Oh my god.
pulling a 180 and going down the main street again.
Yeah. All right. Are we gonna go down like a back alley soon?
Uh, I don't know. How much do you know about Hollow Knight brackets? I need to continue this tangent right now.
Right. You can finish your Hollow Knight tangent.
Okay. Basically every single one of my vessel OCs are vessels that died. This isn't uncommon for vessels. They love doing that. They're so good at it. You'll find out. But basically, they died and were then basically possessed at the moment of death by a greater will. And so Lilith specifically houses part of the spirit of Un, which is it's the grass spirit. They live in the garden. That's basically it. But yeah, that's pretty much them. That's Lilith.
Cool. What? Okay, here's an actual interesting point that we can pull from. Not to say, wait, that sounded so mean.
Oh, I'm
Oh, no, that's not what I
bursting
meant.
and sobbing into tears.
I love you, darling. What I meant to say was like, here's a something that I'm thinking about now because of what you discussed. Is I'd love to hear about how something like a video game can inspire you to basically create your own part of that universe. Like, what spurs you to do that? Like, when a piece of media attaches to you so deeply, because as someone who builds personas, I'm basically building the world that they come from. But with this, you're taking it from a pre-existing world. What's that like for you?
Usually, it's depending on the actual media that you are like constructing it from. Sometimes it's just spite. Like you'll see the creator do something, and you're like, I could do something way cooler with that, and I will,
Yeah.
and I do. But
That sometimes happens with like pre-written D&D campaigns. You're like, wow, this kind of sucks. I'm doing a better version.
yeah, no. Sometimes you'll just see something, and you're just like, what if we didn't do that though? What if we did something different and more interesting with it? But yeah, no. Another reason is it's can come from a place of love. You see something like in that world and you're like, I don't want to say own a piece of it. I want to like insert a piece of myself into that world. It's similar to like writing fan fiction, I guess. You see something and you're like, I like this so much. I want to either put a bit of myself into it or take a chunk of it out and just mess around with it, tweak, play on the ideas that the original authors created. And then, eventually I'll put back all the pieces where I found them and I'll be done playing with it.
It's interesting. I guess we must have a slightly different relationship to the way we like ingest media, because for me, other than like when I listen to music, and for me, music is very much like oh, I'm projecting my own personal experience into the lyrics, into the tune. But when it comes to written like or visual media, particularly like TV shows or movies or video games, unless the video game inherently, I'm building my own character in that. If I'm already playing a pre-existing character, I'm thinking about their experience.
Ah.
So, bringing it back to say Legend of Zelda, when I'm playing Link, everything I'm doing, I'll say like, if I die in a stupid way or like fall off a cliff, I'll be like, oh, sorry, Link. Like, to me, it's very much like I am embodying that character, and I'm not like inserting something that is for me into that world. I'm taking that world into myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is actually really interesting.
See, I told you that this would be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
It's also Bit City.
It's also Bit City, and
But there's substance here.
there's substance here. I'm just worried that it's like, oh, is this going to be the shortest episode? And it's the one
The substances in Bit City.
the substances in Bit City. Bit City is like a soup. We occasionally come across a really meaty chunk or a nice crouton, but you know,
What are you on about?
you know, it's bit soupy.
I love that you were like, yeah, this might end up being a short episode. This is probably going to be the longest, most incoherent episode, darling. And I'm so okay with that. This is my birthday gift to you, is the joy of having an episode where we basically talk about nothing.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's a blessing.
The problem is, I think I'm running out of things to talk about. I think we're gonna have to end this soon. Oh.
That's the funny thing about our recording software is we actually don't know how long we've been going for until we stop the podcast.
I can kind of figure out how long we've been going for, but like, it's just how it goes.
Well, my dear, I have one last question for you before we shift into our closing thoughts and we finally exit the hallowed streets of Bit City.
Yeah?
You can tell we're getting close to the end because I sound more professional.
Oh no. Professionalism.
Oh god, in this episode?
In this economy?
If you could make a character to represent you like right now, what kind of traits do you think it would have?
Tough question. I find introspection incredibly difficult. This is probably why I don't have like a true sonar, and I'm just happy to like take what people have given me.
This is my birthday gift to you. Live on the pod, I'm gonna help you build a true sonar.
Oh no, introspection.
Yep, we're gonna do it.
I suppose well, first they would be a fox. That's the important part.
Cool. I'm writing this down.
Oh no. Second, I suppose they'd be quiet, I guess, is the no, because like
I actually think, especially like having known you since, last year, I really think that like maybe that's also because I host a podcast with you. But I really do think that like especially over the last like couple of months, you are like more actively outgoing.
Yeah, I think I have been trying to become more myself than like, because like it turns out inherently it's very hard for me to get to know myself just because of how I'm doing like as a yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the great things about character designing. That's the whole point of this episode. Is if there is a point to this episode,
If there
is that a character design is a catalyst and a carrier for internal experience, and this because by giving a character the things that you're experiencing, it creates like a barrier, right? And having that slight bit of disconnection can be really helpful for being like it's like looking in a mirror, but the mirror isn't you.
Yeah, I kind of think that makes sense.
Looking at the traits more comfortable.
I think I can understand that.
Yeah.
So
Fox, I would say like height wise, right now we can just focus on physical attributes. That might make it a little bit easier. How tall are you?
I guess
she doesn't have to be your height.
I don't actually know how tall I am. I assume 6 foot? Because everyone says like, oh no, I'm 5'9", or like I'm 6'2", and I'm somewhere between those.
I think we're about the same height, right? Because I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, no, I think we are the same height, but
I
like,
have 6 feet. I'm a dog.
yeah, you've got. Wait, hold on. Doing some mental
We're-
maths. I'm not sure it checks out.
Apparently, we're still in Bit City.
Biblically accurate dog. Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Oh, I.
That was crude.
That was crude. That was very crude of you.
6 foot fox. Would she have like a natural coat with like an extra color?
I would not go with natural color. I
No,
cannot.
you wouldn't have a natural
I
coat.
I would go with black and red. You know, I know it's edgy. I know it's like the generic choice. Yeah, but like a kind of dark gray, black and red. Because I really like those colors. I really like designing. I How do I put it? I really like how those colors interact and how they all look and what you can do, like just messing around with those kinds of colors.
For sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
black and red just looks really good.
yeah, it looks great. I mean, talk to Zap about, enjoying the color red.
Yeah, no, it's just good. It's just good.
So costume wise, would the patterns on the body be like follow the natural forms, or would they be like spotty? Would they be splotchy? Would they be patterned?
Uh, that's
You know how like
complicated.
dogs sometimes have like a lighter belly? Like that's what I mean by like natural forms, is like would it naturally reflect what happens in nature?
I think it would, but like, like black fur to grey belly to like going
Yeah.
to red on the arms and legs, I guess.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Would she have hair?
I I think so. I think
Or a haircut?
I mean, my haircut is kind of falling to pieces now. It started to grow back.
Oi!
You're gonna have to help me.
For context, listeners, I occasionally cut trans girls' hair because I've been cutting my own hair for years and years and years. And the lovely Fray asked me if I could cut her hair, and she basically just insulted my haircut.
I am not insulting your haircut. It's just it hasn't
No,
had any upkeep for like how many months now?
that's
So
fair.
it's
No,
just kind of
I'm happy to touch it up for you. You'd probably only really need to touch up the front pieces.
probably.
That's basically like because all I did was lay at the back, so and then do the front pieces. So it's probably the front pieces that have grown more,
That makes sense. Yeah.
probably catching in your mouth a little
A
bit.
little, yeah.
Yeah. But would your son have your haircut?
Ye- I, I don't know. I I like my
You can do
haircut,
both.
but I just don't know if
Or you could have like an alternate where she does or doesn't have hair.
I think there's I think specifically a wolf cut because that's the haircut I really want to get, but I know it's a pain to maintain, so I never get it.
It is. It is sick though. Saying I
It's very
say as a
cool.
girl with a wolf cut.
Yeah,
The
no, it's very cool, but it's just
benefit
like,
of having a wolf cut for me is I cut my own hair, so I know when to touch it up.
yeah, no, that's fair.
What if she had like red at the ends or like a streak of red through the hair?
I think that would be really good, actually. That would be
Which
really
one?
cool looking.
Do you want like the Shadow the Hedgehog streak?
Oh, yes, 100%. Like, let's be honest. I may be I may be like a kind of a Sonic fan, but only very specific Sonic media.
Yeah. Did you watch the new Sonic movie?
I haven't gotten around to it yet. I just haven't had the time. I haven't.
The list of movies we can watch because I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, no. That would be.
Pod, I'm admitting to all the media that I have not engaged with.
Oh, whoops. Well, that's one way to
Oopsie.
farm engagement. We'll just have everyone kicking down our door.
No. Play Hollow Knight.
Play Hollow Knight. You do need to play Hollow Knight though.
Would you have any like jewelry or piercings, things like that? Any adornments?
I think ear piercings would be cool because I am gonna get my ears pierced soon, hopefully.
Studs, danglies?
I think studs and bars are my kind
Oh,
of style.
huh.
Yeah, those are the or like small hoops. You know the type that
Yeah,
just I don't know what they're called.
hoops.
Hoops. Okay, yeah, let's go. But I mean more like the small ones that kind of hug the shape of the ear, if that makes sense.
Oh, like a cuff.
Cuffs. Okay, yeah, no, those would be
I can
closest.
add, yeah, ear cuff.
Yeah.
Dope. How big are the ears?
Uh,
Like Fennec Fox style?
I do like Fennec Fox style. I think that may
Are
be
we talking big old satellite dishes? Like,
get them
let's
big ass
go.
ears out of the caption. Yeah, I think that would be pretty good.
Sick. Cool, cool, cool. What color paw pads?
Uh,
One thing that I just do when I design a Sona is paw pad color is like also the color of any smaller extremities. So like the tongue is usually the same color as the paw pads.
okay. I I think it would be like a much lighter gray, if that makes sense. Like, and that could
Ooh.
be also inside the ears, because that would
Yeah.
like give them a nice little bit of
What we
contrast to.
could also do is warm up that gray a little bit because you've got the red there and you want the red to still feel harmonious. So it could
Okay.
almost be like a red undertoned gray.
Okay.
Like almost like a little bit beigey, like peachy, something just like a warm tone gray.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would be pretty neat.
This is my artist brain coming out now.
Yeah, I mean, we could also give her glasses because I do wear reading glasses,
What do they look
but
like?
oh God, they're tiny little spectacle things.
Aww.
I do have to wear them while I paint just because it lets me.
Oh my god, that art would be so cute. Like leaned over the desk in her little glasses with her tiny little paintbrush.
I'm never gonna
Oh,
live
I
this
have to
down.
draw that. That's so cute.
Uh, yeah, no, that would be. Is there anything else we need to worry about? Is there?
So what kind of tail do you want? Do you want like long and fluffy? Do you want like a little nub tail? Do you want it like thin and whippy? Like what kind of
I know it's probably incredibly dumb to say, but you know a foxtail. Yeah,
maybe it was a stupid question.
I
I'm gonna write down in my notes, you know,
like a foxtail.
like a foxtail. Oh my god, I love that streaming service. Foxtail.
Yeah, no, that's the one that everyone
We're still in Bit City.
we're never leaving Bit City. We've
Oh
never
god.
left.
Maybe that's how we know that the episode has ended. We finally left Bit City.
Finally.
Who's drive if I'm on the pod and you're on the pod?
Then who's driving the car?
I think that's everything that we need. I guess, other than a name.
I think
Do you
I
want to save that?
I
See if
want to
you can.
save that for later.
Because at least now you kind of have a mental image, right?
Yeah.
And I guess just like making a D&D character or making an OC, you've got base elements, and the base element here is a 6 foot tall red and grey fox who paints miniatures in her spare time with her little glasses on, and I think that's so cute.
Yeah.
As
That's
a little ear cuff.
oh, that's so cute.
Does that feel like you,
That
Fray?
would feel like me, but I wouldn't stop at one ear cuff. I would get maybe three because they
Nice,
just
like
look
two
cute.
on one ear and one on the other.
Oh, I was more thinking like three on each ear.
Oh, like a stack.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
no, just
Ear cuffs are cool. Here's the thing about ear cuffs. There are ones that you don't need a piercing for. They literally just clamp onto your ear.
that's pretty cool. I'm taking notes. I'm learning.
Yeah, ear
Yeah,
cuffs are great. Anyway, Frey, would you please finally drive us back home?
sure. I guess it's closing time at the kennel. So let's clean up the bar. Let's put all the drinks in the washer. Let's forget about it until tomorrow and then be upset with whoever was on last shift.
Yeah, who was closing?
Who did closing last night? God,
Oh my
guys.
god. Let's park the car and say goodbye to Bit City.
Let's go. Let's keep driving the car onto greater horizons and even
Mhm.
dumber bits.
Yep, that's exactly how we want to be with this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting with us. I know this episode was a little bit wild, but it also was just a way for us to kind of relax and, it's Frey's birthday, so
It's my
it was pretty
birthday. You literally are not allowed to be mad at me.
exactly. And just wait until we get to my birthday
Oh,
and what I have
oh
planned.
no, you've already got plans?
I've already started thinking about it. I
Oh
think I
no.
already know what topic I want to cover for my birthday.
I'm gonna die out here.
And it'll be wonderful, but you will have to wait until my birthday for that episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. I know that I guess you're not driving the car anymore, so I can help us finish out.
Yeah.
Fray, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. Once I actually post something on there, you can find me at Fray Coyote Fox.
Oh my god, you said coyote correctly.
Damn it!
You were
So
lying this whole time. It was a bit.
it was a bit, another bit. Just when you think Bit City is over, the bits follow you home.
Oh no. The bits infect you.
Yeah, there's endless bits.
And you can find me at Renzoy. Anywhere that you might find a dog in a place like this, but particularly Instagram. That is where I post. Bray, you gotta make sure you actually post things from this episode, I swear.
Oh, okay, I can do that. I can remember to
You
post.
need things to post.
I can do that. I can do exactly one post.
Well, Frey, before we finish up, who would you like to shout out today?
I guess I would like to shout out my long-suffering game master Ken. Yeah, shoutouts to Ken.
Because it is your birthday, my dear, my shout out goes to you. You did an amazing job writing this episode. I know you had a lot of doubts about your own ability, but the reason I wanted you to do it is to prove to yourself that you can. And look where we are.
Yeah,
You are so much more capable than you know, and I'm so proud of you, and I love doing this with you. Happy birthday, my darling.
thank you. I'll try and enjoy it as best I can.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
You're gonna have a dog at your birthday party.
it's gonna be great.
You're gonna have a
Promise.
few dogs at your birthday party.
There are going to be at least 3 dogs at my birthday party.
At least.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, don't crash the ground!
Oh my god, car accident time 3.